In this episode of Selling Puffin, it's the last of 2020's footage where I show you how I repair the forward hatch. So the forward hatch could not be in more need of repair. This was evident when I was cleaning Puffin and the acrylic fell out in my hands. Whatever was used to seal the window before had failed, but left behind a horrible black substance. It was a nightmare to get clean. I used car paint thinners to clean the frame, being careful not to let it linger or to spread the substance any further. But it wasn't long before British summer got in the way and I had to cover everything up. So the next dry spell, I unwrapped everything and made a start. So my priority right now is getting the top side of the boat dry. This one was very obvious. The actual window itself was coming away from the hatch edge. The ceiling was obviously old and it wasn't holding this down anymore. So the benefit of working in a working boatyard, I've had absolutely awesome advice from everyone here. Firstly was getting it all clean. Around the edge here you had the leftover sealant, but I took the hatch off and used some paint thinners or solvents to actually remove all of this. The guy did advise me, he did say be careful of it rubbing and moving because it can stain, but potentially I did stain it a little bit. After the solvent, it's all been cleaned with sugar soap and then rinsed thoroughly. Now the sealant I'll be using, which is Dale 799, which was suggested by the yard owner, which is a really good glazing compound to bed this down. It's also been suggested to me to make sure this is level with the top, so when you put this down on here, this actually will sit about a millimetre or so below the rim, and it needs to be level with the rim. I've actually got some paint stirrers that I'm going to use for that, and then when you put the sealant down, put this on top, it's at the right level. I'm also going to use those around the edges to try and get it centred as much as possible. First job I need to do is tape everything up. So preparation is key on this one, to make sure it doesn't look sloppy and you haven't got sealant everywhere. So I am just going to use this Scotch tape all around. I'm just going to do that off camera, and then we'll be back with hopefully everything taped up. So as you can see here now, the reason I've taped off around here is when this goes down on the sealant and then this gap is filled, you can actually just rub your thumb around to get a nice, it will sink a little bit, apparently it always does, but you get a nice line going around the edge here, and then I can peel this tape off and all of this should be clean. That's the operative word. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the underside, because when this sits down, this hasn't got a lip. I'll just show you. This hasn't got any kind of lip here. So I've either got to be very good with the amount of stuff I put on here so it doesn't squeeze out as much, or tape this up, but I'm not sure yet. So I've popped home these to raise it up a bit so I can reach underneath. I have decided not to tape along here. I'm going to try my luck with getting just enough sealant in here that it doesn't squeeze out too much. I have got some stir sticks. Now these, I'm going to break up some more, but these are going to be to go along here to make sure it's level with here. I'm not going to use them straight away. I'm going to see how the sealant is and how much it compresses down with the weight of the window. That's why I wanted room underneath to get rid of any squeeze out, but also if I need to, if it starts sinking down below this lip, I can actually put these in to just actually keep it on that level, because otherwise what you'll have is when it rains, the water will come off the window and it will pool in the lip here, and then you've got water sitting on your seal. Now what I want to do here is just to make sure that the gap is as even as so I can get it around the whole window. So I'm quite happy with that. The sealant is actually quite solid, as in it's not squeezing out as much as what I thought it'd do. It's actually not sinking below the lip. So what I've got to use is just a stir stick to sort of check that it's not sunk down, and to make sure that there's a gap all the way around. Like I think this is actually quite even. I have done worse jobs, but that is actually quite even. And what I'm going to do now is actually just sort of overfill this, and then I'm going to squeeze it down. What I've got just down there is a wet rag, and I'm just going to squeeze this in. Now this is actually, I think that's pretty much good to go. So now, before it all sets, it's time to take off all this paper. And you should, if you haven't messed up, be left with nice clean lines. Now I don't know if it comes out on camera, but probably not enough along here on the underneath. I'm going to check to see later on if that's going to be alright. Overall, around the top it seems to be alright. But here we have a newly resealed window. So that's one leak sorted out.
So after a couple months, I discovered it was also leaking from between the frame and the deck. I didn't get a chance to film this, but I removed the frame and rebedded with butyl tape, and since then it's been dry. Hopefully next week I will be jacking up the boat to get her level and starting on the chain locker rebuild. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe.